they don't miss you. They miss what you did for them. And in your absence, they recognize they've been taking you for granted all this time. And now you're not there to provide the service that they're used to getting out of you. So when they call you, when they text you, when they send you the bait, say no. Prioritize self-respect. Know that if they loved you, they wouldn't have taken you for granted in the first place. That's just a reality.
I need you to understand that men want to work for you. Let them work for your hand. The more he invests in you, the less likely he is going to let go of you. Why do you think men love video games? Why do you think men love business? Because they're always trying to reach for the next level, the next quest. In order to ignite that version of themselves of wanting to consistently impress you and protect you and provide for you, give them a little bit each day, not all of you. Lead up to that moment. I'll tell you something, men loving a woman is hard to get. Not because of a game, they just love knowing that they're investing something worth fighting for.
These are 4 green flags in the most dateable man, and I mean men who are ready to go. The first one is that he treats everybody with respect. And he respects himself so much that he does not push you into having sex early on, because there's no need for him to prove his masculinity, neither to himself nor to you. Green flag number 2. He has been single for at least a year, and since then he has regained his identity. He's no longer busy with his past. Now he's busy with his future. Green flag number 3. He's emotionally mature, and when he deals with problems, he won't make them worse by lashing out on you, but he will sit down with you and talk it through. Green flag number 4, and maybe this is the most important one of all. He does what he says he will do.
The way we end a relationship matters. In fact, it matters a lot. To be on the receiving end of someone ending a relationship with us abruptly, out of the blue, without any explanation, or via text where there's no communication around it, is devastating and can really leave a person feeling abandoned and feeling broken. And I get it. These are not easy conversations to have. And especially if we're breaking up with someone and we know that they don't want to end the relationship, then we have to kind of sit with them maybe trying to convince us otherwise, and it might be a long conversation. None of it is fun. None of it is comfortable. But how we end a relationship in many ways is a reflection of our character. And the way to do it is with honesty, respect, and care.
These are 3 responses to a man that are going to pull him closer and make you feel like a woman who truly understands him. And the third thing you can say to your man to make him feel truly bonded to you is you're right. Because so often we are very critical and we're so easy to point out the negative things, right? Men need appreciation. They need to know that the efforts that they're putting into the relationship are not for naught, that they're appreciated, that they're loved, that they can be themselves. And that they are right sometimes, right? Because men need to feel like they're winning. So do women. We need to feel like we are winning in our relationship. Because if you think about it, if you have 2 people in a relationship and one person is always winning, one person is always right, and the other person is always losing, they're always wrong, there's going to come a time when the person who feels like a loser in the relationship will no longer be happy, they will no longer be in love, and they will eventually walk away.
No matter who you marry, you'll be tested. No matter who you marry, there'll be hard conversations, ups and downs, seasons of growth, incredible changes within the 2 people. So it's not about finding the perfect partner who understands you all the time and who can always read your mind. That's not realistic. Life is all about finding the partner that you can walk this world with and tread all of these journeys with smoothly. It's the person that you can grow with. It's the person that will see you through. So find that partner, find compatibility in those areas, in the conflict resolution, in the hard times. Do you have alignment when it comes to those things? That is what's going to create a long-lasting relationship filled with so much longevity and so much khair. So let's start looking for the one from that perspective.
A man who is in love is going to fight to the death for what he wants. But at a certain point, if he feels like that's no longer being reciprocated, he doesn't get angry, he doesn't walk away, he just stops fighting. Because at the end of the day, he wants to know that the person he is fighting for, dedicating to, committing all his time, energy, and love to, is going to be a partner worth fighting for. He wants to know that when push comes to shove, she's going to fight for him, not against him. Eventually, if that doesn't happen, he just gets quiet and walks away.
I love to feel the strength of a man. Like, I love it when he's like protective and like claims me, or like some sort of ownership in like a physical way, not like a don't talk to her or don't get near her. It's like every time like we're out in public and we're walking, I love when a man has his like hand on my waist, or when we're sitting down, he has his hands like over my legs and in between my thighs, or just like claiming me in some sort of way physically.
Should a woman submit to a man's leadership?
I think that when you meet a man who is such a safe bet and so secure, submission is a natural consequence. Now, if you refuse to do that because you don't see, like, it just goes against everything, the narrative you've been taught, you're depriving yourself of a really beautiful relationship. I'm not saying submit to every man, but a good man who cares about your well-being, you'd be a fool not to submit to him. You'd be a fool to argue with him. You'd be missing out on a great connection simply because you want to maintain your independence, but independence is overrated.
Men need affection just as much, if not more, than they need sex. Sex isn't enough. Talk to your man. Check on where he's at with his goals, with his debt, with his problems. Check on how he's feeling mentally, spiritually. Touch that man. And I'm not talking about touching his private areas, okay? Rub that man's back. Rub his feet. Rub his head. Give him a scalp massage. Wash his hair. Yes, wash his hair. Don't act like you don't like going to the Dominicans, and when they be washing your scalp, you be damn near about to have an orgasm. Cut it out. A man would love it. Let me give you a facial real quick. Cooking and cleaning, and those are survival skills. Those are not ways to show affection. If I'm sounding crazy to you, then go look at them women who have been married for 45 years. I guarantee you they done rubbed some feet. While my grandfather be playing in video games, my grandmother be right there scratching his back and looking at him like he's just the king of the world. I'd be like, how the hell does she still feel like this about this man? But she literally gazes at him like he is the king of the world. Yes, she will get down there and scrub his feet and clip his toenails. Yes, that is affection. Remind that man that he's a king. Remind that man that he's powerful. Remind him that he's strong. Remind him that he's needed. Remind him that he's wanted, desired.
Here are 3 things you can do to help your marriage as a wife. Number 1, have lots of sex. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Number 2, pray together. Couples that pray together stay together. It's literally statistically proven. And number 3, submit to your husband. When you submit to your husband and the roles are exactly as they should be, your marriage is so much more harmonious, and you will be such a peaceful wife when your husband leads.
Are the easiest thing in the entire world. If you are wondering how you and another woman got the same man, it is because men are the easiest thing in the entire world. I have never wanted a man and not gotten him. Do you have any idea how many men have wanted me and not gotten me? There has never been a single man that I have wanted that I have not gotten, because men are cheap and easy.
You know how we all avoid hard conversations with people that we love because we just want to keep the peace. We don't want to upset anybody, and it's just easier not to say something. Well, consider this. Keeping the peace is not the goal of a relationship. Love is. And when you love somebody, you need to love them enough to have the hard conversations, because that's the only way that your relationship is going to get stronger. It's not through keeping the peace. It's through discussing the things that you love someone enough to actually discuss.
If you find yourself not being able to get over the breakup, this is not you're sad about the breakup. This is you can't get over the breakup. You're addicted to this man. You just can't let it go. This is really has all to do with you and nothing to do with that person, okay? You have holes in your life that person filled. And the way that you're going to work on getting over this breakup is to fill those holes yourself. For example, if you like the companionship, you were talking to him every day, y'all were hanging out, you are lonely. You were lonely before you met him. If you grew up in an emotionally vacant household where you weren't validated, championed for, and advocated for by your parents, if you grew up feeling invisible, if you had a bad relationship with your mother, if your father was never around, if you were adopted, if you were bullied, okay? Here we are. This is how you're going to learn how to detach. It's by filling those little holes so that you're not depending on someone else to do it for you.
Why did no one tell me that men just don't get told nice things, apparently? Today I told my boyfriend, hey, you're deserving of love. And he cried so hard he got a nosebleed on my new dress. I'm not mad about the dress. I'm not mad about that at all. I'm mad about the fact that in his 18 years of life, no one, not a single person has told this man that he's deserving of love? Are you fucking shitting me?
Let me explain why reciprocation really works. Two people go into a relationship, they both have half a glass of water. If he keeps pouring into her glass and she keeps pouring into his glass, nobody's ever going to run out of water. Nobody will ever be dehydrated, and ain't nobody going to be thirsty for nobody else or searching for a drink outside of the relationship. Why? Because we are constantly pouring into one another. Everything you do for that man is going to come right back home.
I think I have just lost the one person that I've prayed for. Like, all because of my self-sabotaging tendencies. Because God forbid I actually accept good things that are happening to me, because I'm so used to it being a mess. I'm so used to it being toxic. And here I am in the face of a non-toxic situation, in the face of a God-fearing man, in the face of a family man, an amazing person. And I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. And I think I've just lost. I think I just lost the opportunity to experience something I've never experienced before.
You cannot build a relationship with someone who doesn't want to make plans with you and doesn't initiate plans with you ever. You cannot build a relationship with someone who won't talk about the future with you. And you certainly cannot build a relationship with someone who doesn't communicate and isn't willing to have the hard conversations. But it's not your job to try to convince someone to be more available to you, or to show up for you, or to even want a relationship with you. Your only job is to be a protector of your heart and an advocate for your boundaries. And the first boundary has to be the boundary of goodbye.
When you meet a man, of course he's going to ask you what you're looking for in a relationship. And if I were you, I would tell him, oh, I like good morning texts, I like good night texts, I like it when I get flowers once a week. I admire a guy who tells me every day how beautiful I am. No, stop. Of course you're not going to do that. Because you know what's going to happen. For the next 3 weeks or 1 month, you will get your good morning texts every morning, your good night texts every night. He will tell you every day how beautiful you are, and you'll get your flowers every Friday. Because he wants you to like him. But if you are smart, you're not going to tell him exactly what you want. Let him figure it out by himself. But what you should do, you should give him a little hint. Help him a little bit. Just don't give him the ready package with all the steps to your heart. And this is what I really think you should say. You should say something like, I value a man whose words are aligned with his actions. A man who does what he says that he will do. A man who has old school manners and who is willing to prioritize his relationship. That is what I'm looking for in a relationship. And then you give him the space to show you what kind of man he is.
I think even the good girl can turn bad if she's starved of attention from her man. If your man is pouring water into your cup on a daily basis, she can't see other men. She becomes blind to other men. But you know, when your man, you look beautiful, he doesn't say you look nice, or you don't make time for each other, he ignores you, no longer gives you attention. She's so starved in that moment that unfortunately all it takes is one man to give one bit of attention. She'll zoom in on the attention, forget all the other red flags in this man, and he'll become attractive to her because it's a feeling she's chasing, not a person. If you want to keep a loyal wife, all you have to do is remind her she's loved. It's really simple and easy. Remind her she's loved, she won't seek it. But if you forget to give her that, she'll become desperate for it.
What do you think keeps a man happy?
I would say what keeps a man happy is they actually require a lot more emotional investment than we think. What we are taught is they just want to be attracted to you, they just want you to give them sex, and they just want you to give them peace, and they don't even define peace, they just say give them peace. But all of that is actually negated by the fact that they actually want far more emotional investment than they say. A man doesn't have the luxury of going to his friends saying how he felt, or going to his, telling people his problems. So when he finds a wife that he can be himself with, and she shows emotional investment, she cares about what's going on with his life, with his physical health, with his, if he's eaten, if he's not eaten, she genuinely invests in him emotionally, he's far more happy. But whereas when a man cheats, a lot of men think, oh, he just wants sex with somebody young or somebody else, but usually he just wants to feel desired by somebody else. He just wants to feel loved by somebody. If you deprive them and starve them of love and attention, they'll go everywhere else.
Let me tell y'all something real quick. Understand the difference between someone who loves you for you and someone who loves you for what you bring. People who love you for what you bring don't care about nothing you do, honey. As long as you bring in the money keep coming, or whatever that's pleasing them keep flowing, they good. They gonna agree with everything you say. People who love you for you don't care about the materials you coming with. They just want to see you win. They love seeing you happy. They love the energy you bring when you content with yourself. That's love. Don't mistake people who genuinely support you for someone who just want to leech off of you. It's a difference. They move differently.
It's lacking. He might meet a girl he just met. You could be holding shit down for years.
Ooh.
And then he meet a bitch that come along and this woman make him feel like a man.
Mm-hmm.
You talking to him crazy. You disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
Your mouth is you laying it down, you may be giving him the best head ever. But this right here, you doing too much. So this woman make me feel exactly how I want to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got a stove and some good pussy. That ain't how you know what I'm saying? You ain't the only bitch that can cook, bitch. You ain't the only one. You gotta realize that. You gotta know that, baby. Everybody got good pussy. Who got the bad one?
Bitch, everybody can suck some good dick.
Hello? So it's just certain qualities that make
You
a man...
talk too much. And you like to fight him. And you like to bust his windows.
You wake up mad. You always on Instagram. You worry about the wrong shit. You ain't rubbed his back and he ain't laughed in 2 weeks, bitch. You not funny. Something is lacking.
Stop dealing with men that try to match your energy. You'll have a worse relationship with them, because as a man, you have to understand that you cannot do what women do. Getting mad because I'm mad and then treat me like you got a problem with me without knowing if I have a problem with you is very womanly. Not answering calls on purpose because I missed your call on accident, womanly. Trying to hurt or destroy me mentally, physically, and emotionally whenever there's an issue with us, womanly. Because you've been around too many women to the point that now you're trying to keep up with one. Free game, ladies.
And I took the easy way out, which was, okay, what's the next dick? Because there's always going to be, dicks. You feel? A dick is like an oxy. Makes you forget about the pain from your last relationship, and you just need more oxys. You feel? When you do that a lot, it really fucks up your mind, because those men, 9 out of 10 don't really give a fuck about you. And when you meet a nice man, you wouldn't even realize, oh, like this is real love, and you will fuck that up too.
Did you know that women leave men 80% of the time? And if they're college educated, it's 90. So if you get divorced, it's 80% of the time like the woman leaves. And one of the number one predictors of divorce is actually if the woman out-earns the man.
Oh, I love that. I actually love that. I can't lie.
You love that? You don't think that's kind of shitty?
No, I'm like, girl, you go get that. You go get a man, and like, yeah, you go get that. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Like, why is there like a lack of empathy for men?
It's not a lack of empathy. It's
but
more
there
of a
is, because like
support of the-
they're breaking up a family and a lifelong commitment in a home, and your reaction is you go get the bag, sis, or like, I'm so happy for you, when that's actually a really like, that's a sad situation. Like, your wife is leaving you.
I'm going to be aggressive because nobody wants to hear this, because what you want me to say today is actually being a single mother is totally possible. It actually isn't. It was never meant to happen for the human race, number one. Number two, single biggest determiner of whether a mother is a good mother, what do you think it is? This is going to blow your mind when I tell you the answer. Whether they have a supportive partner. The major argument for good dads is actually, can the dad be there for the mom? Because it's like a direct chain is what we see. What you see is that if you've got a father figure, basically, who's supportive to the mother's energy goes towards the children. But the second that she doesn't have that supportive energy, she collapses, is what happens. And then the kids get starved. And we're not actually supposed to be living in a single-family household, so it's supposed to be a lot more support towards mom than just dad. But I'm going with standard societal structure. You are a victim of a society that was never meant to work this way.